Hey, what's going on, guys? Just giving you my quick thoughts on Paper Mario the Origami King released for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm about 3 hours in, and my conclusion is that this is half of a really great game. Now, if you haven't heard or suspected it from the marketing material, Paper Mario the Origami King has almost no RPG elements to speak of, to the tune of the originals like Paper Mario 64 and the Thousand Year Door. If you want a spiritual successor to the original Paper Mario games, something with RPG elements, go check out my video on Bug Fables. It's an amazing game worthy of your time. Okay, so with that out of the way, I want to talk about Origami King. This is a very charming little adventure game. Basically, the Mushroom Kingdom has been invaded by the Origami King and wants to fold everyone up and turn them into mindless servants. Because the Origami King is a threat to everyone, even King Bowser, it leads to some very enjoyable dialogue where you're talking to Bowser's minions and getting help from them. And right there, that's actually the game's strongest point that has been retained from the originals, the dialogue. You don't get a ton of that obvious fourth wall humor from Thousand Year Door that was a little bit childish in retrospect, but still kind of enjoyable. But you get a lot of parody humor of the Mario series that I very much enjoyed. Paper Mario always felt like it was a bit satirical, and Origami King is no exception. There's also an absurdity aspect to it as well. We never imagined the Mario games being one for observational humor or fun little quips. It's always fun to hear Toads talking about themselves like they're hypochondriacs. It's just something's entertaining about that. I don't know why. I laugh a little bit harder than I should. So on that, previous games like Sticker Star were just devoid of charm and life, and it seems that Origami King got some of the franchise's soul back through the charm, the dialogue, the writing, all that good stuff. The game also has some fun levels. Again, I'm not far. I'm on the first main area, about 3 hours in. There seems to be a lot more content, with there being 5 more areas with their own biome flavors. Now, the area I'm in after you get past the town hub has an almost non-linear aspect to it. You gotta run around and collect these special stones, which could be held by a mole NPC auctioneer or 3 large paper-mache Shy Guys who are passing the stone to each other like they're playing a game of soccer. I wasn't kidding when I said that this game has a boatload of charm. It's really fun to see this non-linear approach to levels because it makes the game almost superior in some ways to the original titles, which were very well regarded for their fun levels, at least for 64. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, not so much, with its incessant backtracking and some of its poor quality later levels like the X-Naught base. And it's especially refreshing to see it because the last 2 games just weren't very good. So this sounds great, right? But why is it only half a great game, in my words? Well, simply put, it's the combat, and it sucks. This is the third Paper Mario game with mediocre combat, and I am so sick of this it almost angers me. If you guys don't want to make an RPG, that's fine, but for the love of God, make the combat fun. I feel like Nintendo is just trolling us at this point. The combat in this game is so fucking boring even 3 hours in. Combat takes place on a turntable where you can rotate enemies into certain rows to maximize damage. But there's only 2 placements you need to worry about. 1 row of 4 and 2 rows of 2. The former is for jumping attacks, the latter is for the hammer, with some variations such as flying enemies and spiked enemies to mix it up a bit, as well as some active time-based elements such as timing your hammer to hit the enemy harder or blocking to avoid heavy damage. With the exception of boss battles, it is dull as dishwater and incredibly easy. From the 3 hours I started playing, there is absolutely no variance in the combat. Enemy designs are bare bones, just origami versions of Mushroom Kingdom characters that we've seen for the last 35 years. I had to purposefully handicap myself and not use the fistfuls of mushrooms and fire flowers I had at my disposal for the game to have any kind of danger or challenge. I didn't use the Toad system either. Fighting enemies feels like a chore, and I just try to avoid it. There's no incentive for fighting them either. It feels like something just slapped on. It's a shame, because exploring levels and talking to NPCs is really great, but the combat, the core gameplay, is just so repetitive and boring that I've completely lost interest in finishing this game. It's an absolute improvement over Sticker Star, but I can't recommend this game unless you pick it up on sale. I just didn't find it to be that engaging. If you're still craving the original games, want something with a little bit more depth, and don't care too much about budgetary constraints, check out Bug Fables. I'll leave an annotation in the video right here and a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. I'm out.